to try and continue with the story. So briefly, previous episodes: Revolution, Hero, mentioned in Newsweek. Worked with Time. Termina, mentioned in Newsweek with 20 words, a paragraph with 20 words. As in, the reporter asked me what happened and others, and I was one of those who told him. Then I worked with Radio Sweden, made some money, got an Audi with peripety, with some quite serious trouble. It got smashed somewhat in Windows, anyway, in Mamaia, north of Mamaia. And we tried to use it, this and other means, to do some business, commerce, trade. I went a few times to Austria and Germany with Socrate, trying to make some money, trying to bring in things which we would sell, import on a very small scale with a car. Actually, we would sell with a profit. It didn't work always, but there were a few good journeys. And we had some amusing, some depressing experiences. The attitude in Austria and Germany was very hostile. At one point we went to Germany in winter. It must have been the winter of Termina 1990. No, it was a little later, because it was, by that time I had a different car. The Audi was still there, and we bought another. We came with two from Belgium, thinking we would resell them. It was difficult to resell them. And one was in use because it was using diesel, and that thus was more efficient as opposed to the gasoline used by the Audi. Much faster, much better, but more expensive to maintain and use. So with a diesel, it was winter, we were coming back from somewhere near Frankfurt on the way back home. Termină, cretinule! Pus mama, nu vrei deloc să înțelegi. And the plan was to stop in Vienna, Mexico Platz, where they had many shops selling things, and buy some things from there. They had specialized shops for electronics, which we were interested in. So the plan was to drive safely and at night with a constant speed of something like 90, which was supposed, at least at that time, to be the most efficient speed. Also, you would consume a minimum amount of diesel with that speed, like 5 liters per 100 kilometers. 6, I don't know, but the minimum. Only to find, so we were driving only to find that the car was slowing down by itself. I tried to accelerate, but it didn't stop really, but it slowed down. It was like, okay, in this way. So what we had to do when we did, we stopped at different gas stations to tell them, look, this is what's happened. Do you speak English? We didn't speak German, that was the problem. Assistance. This is when I was not shocked, but it's still in my mind. So one of the things I'm still left with. He's more than naughty. He's murderous. He will kill me. One of these days I will drop the phone and it will be the last post on the blog, because it screams in such a manner that he's fucking my brains. It will scorch them at one point. And again and again and again. And he has learned tricks to get things he wants. He knows where to fly in the kitchen. But this he doesn't want to. knowing he makes me crazy. Anyway, to return. So it was so mean, so vicious in my mind, because we kept, can we do something? No, assistance. In other words, you call, you phone, and they will come with a truck and pick you up, and it will cost you, all the money you have in the world or something. 2,000 marks. At that time, we were dealing with Deutsche marks, German marks, not euros. It wasn't still there. It wasn't there yet, not still. So it was, and one, okay, but then 2, 3, 4. I think we stopped in 10 because we had no other choice. I mean, the car was stopping anyway. Uh, and only after 10 tries, asking 10 different people who were unhelpful and hostile, and we could see in their contempt in their faces and their looks. And not only there, also when we stopped in gas stations and put diesel, and then with that thing, we went to the bathroom to also clean, because we didn't stay in hotels at that time. We didn't have the money. We kept the car running when we were 2 drivers, which we were in this formation a few times. I was driving always as a sort of a business partner ever from then with Socrate. And then once we had the doctor, as we called him, Ivan, nice guy. Another time we drove with Marius. I drove, he rested, he drove, I rested with Marius Jäger, and we went and stayed. I don't remember where his parents live. I hope they still live. Somewhere in Germany anyway. But on this occasion, I was the only one. So we slept in the car once in a while. Tried to drive as much as possible and not rest, not when it was necessary. And only, as I said, after somebody said, okay, you have to add some additive, something, you buy something which is used in winter when it's cold, because it helps the composition, whatever the effect is chemically, the diesel. And indeed the car was running smoothly after that. It was just a thing you buy with, I don't know, 15 Deutschmarks, 20 maybe, and then it runs. Termină mă și godie. So it was this hostility that, and as I was saying, but then I have my brains, as I said, somewhat decomposed by this motherfucker, and I tend to forget where I start and where I have to arrive. In the bathrooms too, they look as if like we were shit or worse. So that was not a good experience. The hostel, the customs. We arrived 1 hour before midnight, and the visa was, you stay here. We had to park someplace because we had a problem with the car, and immediately they gave us a fine of a few hundred marks. And we said, look, we're taking it to the mechanic. No way, I mean, it wasn't. And we come from, it didn't. Not just, okay, that's the law is the law there, we understand that, and you cannot, if you keep finding reasons, everybody has a reason, and then nobody obeys the law because they're in a hurry, they have a sadness, it's also, but the attitude again, it was, you can still be human, you can be decent, you don't have to show this extreme contempt. Okay, returning. So yes, there were a few trips. We tried bringing in gold to sell with a profit from Turkey. That didn't really work out, as far as I can remember. It's also true that different different views, different sides of a deal. So once when we return, maybe this time with a Austrian experience, uh, we made a long journey, and at the end, yes, there was a profit, but of 50 marks on. And I said, look, this trip was for nothing. Oh, what do you mean? It's 100? Yeah, but if I run that much to make so much, such a long journey, to use the car so much, doesn't make sense if you just make 100 marks. I could run around here and be a taxi and make, I don't know, 700 marks with 7,000 miles. I'm exaggerating, of course. I don't know. I don't remember the figures. It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying there were different points of view. So the same with the gold, maybe. I mean, my feeling was that. And I was a bit at the end upset with these guys, also with Adrian and Socrates, because I felt with Socrates was a break of some years. We made our last deal maybe 91, 92 something. And then he called me only 4 years later or so and said, okay, I have this company, maybe you're interested to invest. I invested, and ever since money's coming from there when it's coming. I'm having a loan from him, so I'm not sure exactly what will happen with the pandemic and all. The spouse is not pleased with this, to say the least. She's very furious of the situation. And with Adrian, he sent me some $200 or so, because I had the feeling for some time that he wasn't really taking advantage, in the sense that he thought to himself, okay, let me stay with this guy, he will pay all the bills, and this would be advantageous. No, he didn't think that. He wasn't like that. But still, there was a feeling that I don't know. When he left and then said nothing, but well, maybe we'll get to that. Where it's not yet 291, I'm guessing. 91, maybe in the summer, probably. Yeah, when we had a good relationship with the Belgians, with the people from Bastogne, and it seemed like we will have not just friendship but also some business going on. And then Addy went there, stayed with them, and for various reasons they weren't happy. He stayed longer than they wanted. Again, I don't know exactly, but his relationship with them soured, and that infected our thing as well. So we sort of ended on a sad note with the Belgians. Well, more about that and hopefully some other interesting things in the next episodes.